Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are looking at, let me get the name right, the Milk Cooling Water Jelly Tint, these. Now some of you might be like, yeah, I've already seen you like review them on Instagram and TikTok. I have played with them twice. I wouldn't say it was an in-depth review at all because you only have a certain amount of time. Straight up, I like them, they're nice. However, there's some things we need to talk about these tints. Certain circumstances, of course, there's things I would change. I would say if you want to buy them, I don't think it's a waste of money. If you like makeup, these are quite exciting as a product. They look cute, they work, but there are some things I wanna like, yeah. So that's why I have no blush, powder, anything like that, and I just have foundation because I wanted to show you how these work and how I like to work them and how they don't work in some cases, and also I will show you with no makeup on as well. So let's do it. Just before we get into it, do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up. As always, if you don't know what to comment, just comment algorithm, it always helps. So these ones in particular were gifted to me. I did try and order them myself from the US because a lot of the time when things come to the UK, they're pretty much like, no one wants to talk about them anymore online. We're that far behind for some reason, even though like, shouldn't we all be up to date now? So I posted on my Instagram, I was like, you know what? I was like, I've ordered these. Of course I'll do a review. My order was then cancelled by Milk, but Space and K very kindly sent them to me because they obviously have Milk products. So this isn't an ad in any way. These were just gifted, to be totally upfront. Which means I can say what I want about them. As a makeup lover, if you like me, you love makeup, I love packaging, I always say that. These are a dream come true, just because they look weird, that's it. The packaging is really nice. The aesthetic, I guess, is really, really cute. So that's really nice. But let's not talk about packaging. Well, we kind of have to at one point, but let's talk about the actual product itself. These kind of tints are a little bit different to most other tints in terms of texture and formula. Let me read you how Milk describes them. It says, a long-lasting lip and cheek stain with a hydrating, bouncy jelly texture that glides for a sheer buildable burst of color. This blush and lip stain is 90% natural, clean, hate that word, hate the word clean, vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free, gluten-free, and non-comedogenic, and non-acnogenic. That's how I say it. I didn't see that clean in there. I wish they wouldn't. I wish they wouldn't use the term clean. The reason I want to talk about packaging, I very rarely do this, is because somebody commented saying, do they not dry out quickly? And there's a few things which I think wouldn't dry out quickly if it was done correctly, like most products, right? If there is a very strong clip on here, like it really clips it, you have to give it a good push to ensure, I keep holding up to the microphone, sorry, to ensure it's clipped in properly. It also has this little cap on the top here, which I would keep just to keep it like extra moist, whatever. The product itself, I think from all the visuals, it looks super like crazy jelly-like. It is a little bit firmer than perhaps you're thinking, but it is still quite jelly-like. In terms of drying out, I don't think we're risking too much. So I think as long as you're clipping this on and you're clipping this on, I think you're good. I don't think it's gonna dry out. Saying that, I've only had it for like, what, a week? So we'll see. But I don't see why anything would get through that airtight case. In terms of shades, there's 4 different shades. 2 of them look kind of similar. They have a very subtle difference. The lightest one, you have Spritz, which is more like a corally orange. It's quite nice. You have Chill, which definitely has more of a pink, like a truer pink tone to it. Sorry, I have to add in here. The website says it's red, but even on the model, I don't see the deep red or a red tone. To me, it looks pink. And then you have Burst, which I guess is more a pinky purple, and then you have Splash, which to me is more like a true purple. I personally like Spritz and Burst, like more of an orangey coral, and the like pinky purple, just because I like orangey tones on me and I don't mind a pinky purple. I think the selection of colors is quite nice. I'm happy to see the lighter kind of like orangey coral. It's very rarely I like stains. I just think they're all the same color. I just think they're all like this pinky reddy, like those PH ones. The only PH one I really like are these ones from MUA, because this is more of a deeper purple, whereas a lot of them come out like that same pink. Which I think maybe is why I don't like this one as much, what's it called again, Chill, because it is just that plain stain PH kind of color to me. But I do think it's a good shade range for blush and tint. I keep calling it blush because it's on the cheeks, you know what I mean. Okay, let's talk about application method, right? Because the application method that's shown a lot on the visuals for Milk is directly on skin, and it looks like clean skin with no foundation on. But there also is a recommendation to use brush. Let me tell you what they say. On first use, twist the stick up, then twist off a protective cap to remove and discard. Oh, discard. I think I'm gonna keep it. Gently swipe and swirl the stick directly onto the lips and cheeks. So it says, you know, right on there. It dries fast. Bear that in mind because it does. So work one cheek at a time and blend quickly with fingers, brush, or a sponge. Build to your desired payoff. Close cap back on tightly, listen for the click, and store at room temperature away from direct sunlight. To completely remove stain from skin, use an oil-based cleanser like Hydro Ungrateful Cleansing Balm or any finger balm will do it. And then they have like a brush tip, right? Sweep brush over stick, then onto cheeks for a softer, more diffused brush look. For more intense color, swipe on multiple layers. Want an even color refresh? Store your stick in the fridge. I think they're quite kind of cool anyway. I'm going to talk about my experience with them. I'm also going to apply them so you can see. My experience with these directly onto the face from the stick is it's like the Milk website says, it does dry really quickly. I went in my first try quite strong, and I could see that it was going to be a really nice product, so I said, you know, this is a nice product. However, the blend wasn't there. So in terms of doing it directly on the skin and with a finger, I would literally do, and I mean the smallest amount at a time. The want and the need to kind of like go in and spread like this is definitely there to get the cool full color pay off. But it's definitely a lot easier if you just do a tiny bit at a time. Blend out the area you just put down and then blend that into the skin. Because once these go on, and I think this is, for me, one of the downsides of this product. Not that it's terrible in any way, like most products, you use it and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should use it differently. So I also did a second video where I did use it differently, learning curves, right? I'm not gonna post about it and be like, it's fine, just use it straight up like it, you know? If you need to practice to use it, then you practice to use it. But it does, the word stain is very true with this, like it does stain. Once you apply it onto the skin, it does not move. It dries super fast. You have like, honestly, like 2 seconds or 3 seconds, which I think is perhaps not, oh my God, one of my dogs was here, I didn't realize, not the best situation to be in. So really do start with a little bit and then build it up. I'm just gonna build it up closer to the hairline and the beard here. So then you can get this kind of like more of a flush of color. If you go straight in like crazy, it's gonna look not that great, honestly. This is how it looked when I just went straight in like this and just started blending, because I thought maybe you would get more playtime, but I posted that and said, you need to work quick. But from that, I did learn that you had to move quite quickly. So this is so much nicer and easier when you do just, they kind of sell it as like a quick product, a quick cheeky, but you can't apply too much and quickly get it on because you have to add little bit. So that's my only one concern with this product, really. I like the way it looks, I like the finish, I like how it sits on my skin, there's no texture, it hasn't really interfered with my foundation underneath, despite it having almost like this watery layer. On top, I don't know if you can see like the droplets in the lid. Like my foundation doesn't look chipped away at, it doesn't look uneven, it doesn't look like it's broken it down or anything. In terms of using a brush, I really liked that method. I actually thought it was nicer than just going on to the skin. Literally put it onto the brush. My one concern with this though, and actually my one concern with the sponge method is that this product does stain very quickly, like it says on their website. It does stain quick, and I was a little bit concerned that the product would actually just sit on the brush rather than my face. You know what I mean? Like more product would go on the brush than it did on my face. It does stain the brush, of course it does. It does wash out. I have washed the brushes that I used before, but actually looking at it now, I actually think I prefer the finger side where it's been pushed into the skin. In terms of texture as well, I just think this looks a lot nicer, a lot smoother. This almost looks like it has interfered with my foundation. Perhaps it's the more than likely it's a tapping from the brush, but also mixed in with that watery side of a product. Yeah, this is cute. I like this. This is nice. This is fine also. In terms of the lips, we'll go for a different color here. I would recommend hydrating the lips quite a bit before, because it will definitely cling to dry areas like any tint would on the lip that's this kind of texture, this kind of formula. But it definitely, I mean, it definitely stains. This is not gonna come off until it's removed with oil. It is a very strong stain. Very strong. It doesn't taste great. I know you're not meant to eat it, and the website does say you're not meant to eat it because it does look so good. But even on the lip here, sometimes if my tongue touches it, not the best taste ever, but it looks nice. It looks like what you expect from a stain, a lip stain. They don't smell overly fragrant to me. I can't smell it. If anything, they smell slightly antibacterial. I know that sounds strange, but they don't smell, I mean, it doesn't smell like what you would expect like a gummy smell to be, berries, anything like that. For the price, this kind of does look disappointing. It is kind of disappointing. However, for this individual product only, Milk do some products where the quantity isn't that great. However, for this product individually, as a tint, you have to use so little and it stains so quickly. I don't think anyone is gonna get through this whole thing anyway. I really don't see it happening. Yeah, so this image, it says 1,000+ applications per a stick. Before I use this 1,000 times, it's probably going to expire, even this small amount. You know what I mean? So yeah, the price may be an issue, and it is kind of a shock to wind it up and see like this, you know what I mean? It's also so messy. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take off all my makeup and I want to show you it on bare skin. Okay, so I have all my makeup off, just done a little bit of skincare, and I'm gonna show you, okay, so these do stain. I don't know if you can see my lips are still kind of stained a little bit from that purple. You can see where my lip is a little bit drier here. The color has really set into those areas. So again, with a prep for your lips, I would still use like something underneath. It may not have that grip and stain, but if you're, you know, maybe wear a mask the night before, I don't think I'm gonna use it on my lips in the future, basically, because I don't know how my lips are gonna look. I can control my cheeks a little bit more, but my lips, not really. Okay, so I'm gonna try the same color as I did before, the lightest one, because it's easier to take off, because I don't want it to really, really stain my cheeks. And I'm just gonna swipe it onto my skin and show you how it looks on bare skin. So I face this way and just blend that how I did before. I'm not a fan of this, and I'll show you why in a minute. Because maybe, and this is just me, this is just on my skin. The redness and stuff on my skin, I'm going over my blemishes and they're becoming obviously more red, more pink, because I'm applying the color on top. I have a bit of like sun damage on my cheeks here. I just don't think it looks nice on me. That shade to my bare skin, like it looks like I've been, I've had a reaction to something. You know what I will do? Let's try the deeper pink on the other side. See how it sets so quickly? This bit here is already set in that shape. So you really do need to, and bear in mind I have skincare on too, you really do have to work super, super quickly. I'm gonna see if I can fix that. It just sets so fast with a finger. If I had done that with a brush, would have been a lot nicer, but I just, the way it's kind of like advertised to go on the skin, I just think it looks like a rash on me anyway. So if you have quite a few blemishes, or like me, I get like marks from shaving, or I get like blemishes like this, and you don't want them to be extra obvious, I wouldn't use this on bare skin. I'm not a fan of it on bare skin. In fact, I think it looks terrible on my bare skin. So but I love it on top of foundation. Not a fan of it like this at all, to be honest. I actually hate it like this. I need to get it off. In terms of removal, this is an oil-based makeup remover. Before I did just use an oil cleanser, but it does come off quite easily. You'll see. You just kind of like hold and press a little bit if you're struggling. But other than that, oil really does break it down, which you won't see now because my cheeks are really red, but you can see it has come off quite easy. It hasn't come off my furniture very easy. When I opened it, it did kind of splurt out a little bit and stained my furniture. It's a stain, I guess, right? Okay, so who is this good for? Who is it not good for? I would recommend it for, to be honest, anyone over foundation, on top of your foundation, if it's a liquid foundation. I think it looks great. I think it's a fun product if you're into makeup. What's not fun about it? Everyone wants to bite into it. It looks great. As someone who loves makeup, this is fun for me. You know what I mean? If you're happy with your blush, if you're happy with a tint perhaps you already have, I wouldn't rush out to buy it. It's not anything extra special. It's just exciting. It's just something new in terms of the way it looks. Gimmicky, you could say yes. I like gimmicky. Yeah, I quite like it because it's gimmicky. I like packaging. I like that it looks like jelly. I think it's really, really cute. Do I see myself reaching for these when I want to blush a tiny little bit? No. Maybe this one, yes. The other colors, not so much, but it wouldn't be first thing on my mind. It's difficult because I sound like I don't like it, but I do really like it. I think it's a really, really nice product. I think it's really fun. drier skins, if you have any kind of dry texture in the area you want to apply the blush, tint in general will cling to dry areas. It will show up patchy, so maybe consider what your skin is like on that day. Oilier skins, it'll be quite nice. I think it will last a lot longer. Bear in mind, depending where you're oily, oil does break down makeup, but it should stain. It stains quite well. My final thoughts of this is, it looks really exciting. It's a really, really nice product in general. It looks good, it applies well in certain ways. Some people who consider themselves maybe not good at makeup might have a little bit of a learning curve with it, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. Some of you may not, which is also fine. However, I do think it's important to share that. I'm not gonna apply it and think, oh no, that looks terrible, take it off and then apply it, you know, and be like, oh my God, it looks great on first application. I'm gonna be real. Final thought is, it's a nice product. If you don't need a new blush right now, if you don't need a new stain or tint, who does need a new stain or tint unless you use one religiously, don't rush out to buy it. If you like the way it looks, buy it because you also have a good product with it. That's what I would say. I would love to know your opinions down below on this product. I do think it's one of the more exciting launches we've had this year so far. We've had great makeup launches actually this year, so it's been really, really good. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Consider subscribing, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.